Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I wanted to start this video by issuing a public apology to not only Sean Schaefer, but all of the other guys that are in this XRP Community Fantasy Football League, because you're all nice people, and I hate that I have to put the smack down on you. The Digital Asset Investor is going to be bringing the thunder this season, and so I do want to apologize ahead of time. Sean, you're a nice guy. You're all nice guys, but this is now you're in my territory, and I'm going to have to take you all out in this fantasy football league. We all ponied up 100 XRP, so I guess I'm just going to have to add to my stacks this year. So I'm sorry, Sean. Now, I would like to employ the help of, let me see if I can get some help from you guys. I always use this Fantasy Sharks 2019 Fantasy Football cheat sheet. And so I'm looking at all these guys. If any of you guys have any recommendations, I need the whys of why I should pick up certain guys, or especially if you have any information on any of these hidden gems that are further down the list that nobody is seeing. That's what I'm really interested in, is those third or fourth round guys that everybody misses, or fifth round even, or maybe sixth round. But there's some guys that are hidden down here that I wouldn't know about. I need all the tips that I can handle, because I have to back up all of my trash talking that I just began. So, all right, next. Got this just now from Mr. B. This is such a joke, folks. CFPB says no appraisal needed on home mortgages, 400,000 and under. 72% of real estate inventory in the United States falls into this category. We didn't have our first appraisal yesterday in my office. This is a very bad idea, and he is 1,000,000% correct on this. Remember, folks, back in the financial crisis, one of the core things that created this, back then they had what was called, I think they called them no-doc loans. And basically, when you go to get a loan from a bank on a house, or a mortgage broker, you would go to them and they would say, okay, no, we're going to need your financial statements and this and this and this, and they want all your documentation to prove that you make the amount of money you say you make and that your financials look the way you say they look. And then, but they created in the midst of that these loans where maybe they called them stated loan, where it's just, and what it meant was, all you had to do was say, yeah, I make $200,000 a year, and nobody looked at anything. It was the most bizarre. I can remember before the financial collapse, hearing about those and being told about that by a mortgage broker, and kind of doing a double take, like, wait a minute. So, and the way that they sell it is they say, okay, well, you can do a stated loan. In other words, you don't have to show us anything, but if you do that, you're going to have a little bit higher of an interest rate. And so that's how it was sold. And now these clowns from the and this is the overall gist of this. If you're bailing people out when things get rough, how does anybody get burned enough to learn from what caused the problem? And this, right, what you're seeing right here is the answer. If you do not let people fail, and this is why we are where we are now. If you do not let people fail and fall flat on their face, they do not learn anything. Failure is the greatest thing that can happen to anyone. There are many people, including members of my family, that fell flat on their face in the financial crisis. But guess what? Those people learned lessons from it. I know many other people who didn't learn anything because they didn't get burned. They were saved by bailouts or this or that, and so they learned nothing. So they see something like this, and they don't see anything wrong with it. And the reason they don't see anything wrong with it, everything worked out last time. Well, it worked out because people were bailed out with taxpayer money. Crazy. It's the craziest thing that's ever been done in the history of finance. And now they're doing it again because they didn't get properly burned. You got to get burned. I remember when my 7-year-old We were out in the backyard when my 7-year-old, I was grilling out. I have the greatest grill ever made, a Weber grill. Well, we're in the backyard, and the Weber grill has those round domes. My 7-year-old, who at the time was probably 2 or 3, he was born kind of a smart aleck, and so he walks up close. He's playing in the backyard, walks up close to that grill. I have the top on it. I said, "Son, don't touch that. It's hot. It will burn you." He walks right up to it, and because he knew what I was saying. He was literally, "I'll do it anyway. You don't know what you're talking about." Puts his hand on that Weber grill. He didn't burn himself bad, but he puts his hand on that grill just enough to get burned. Guess who's never touched a grill before since that time? My 7-year-old. He won't go near a grill because he's been burned. It's good to get burned by reality, because it teaches you failing and getting burned and getting hurt. It all teaches you what not to do. The 2008 financial crisis, we had a bunch of supposed adults that run the banking systems of the world who decided that they're smarter than everybody else and that people don't need to get burned and their friends don't need to get burned. And now we have this. It's disgusting. It's disgusting, because now more people are going to pay for the results of what these jerks did. More people are now going to get burned than needed to, because nobody let them get burned before. And that's what makes me angry every time this comes up. Sean Michael at Michaels_Mr. sent me this. I love this. I've talked about this guy before, and again, let me give you my disclaimer. I'm not a chart guy. I'm showing you this not for the charts that he's showing. I'm showing you this because I've read what the guy writes. He's obviously a smart guy, and I like the way that he phrases things, and some of the things he says are funny too, and I like that too. The XRP bear market may have just ended. Don't miss, and he's got his charts. This is a link to a trading view that he did. Okay, now look at this. And again, I'm not even looking at the chart. I wanted to read this to you. People love to bash the XRP chart. XRP haters love to say it's the worst performing crypto asset, which in 2017, it was actually the best performing asset, so that's false. Among other usually false things, they point to the fact that XRP remains in a bear market while BTC and many others have enjoyed powerful gains. Well, I'm here to show you that until a major technical change happens, they're absolutely wrong about XRP's technical picture. In my opinion, XRP currently has one of the most bullish technical charts that I've ever seen. As I've shown in previous analysis, XRP is clearly a massive, gargantuan, absolutely titanic uptrend channel in blue, and good old Poopy is about to break it down for you. I just thought that opening paragraph was great. And so I wanted to just briefly show you this, and I love reading how he tells everybody goodbye. I think it's funny. Hashtag Poop loves you. I'm the master of the charts, the professor, the legend, the king, and I go by the name of Magic. Au revoir. Revoir. I know I'm always saying that wrong. Okay, so anyway, and that's JD. But anyway, we have to be in a, like I said, I'm not a chartist, but I've seen too many things that lead me to believe that, from guys that are smart guys like that lead me to believe that at a minimum, things look really good as far as the way chart people look at them. Okay, now this, let me give you the disclaimer here. This was fake news, as actually Wonka said it, fake news. But it was interesting enough that I wanted to show it to you. This morning, I looked on Yahoo Finance, and here's the actual link. They've probably changed it by now. But so I took the screenshot, and what this tells me, and I didn't know that they did it. Look at this. Look at the date. It says August 22nd, 2019. XRP soars by 97% in rally. And then they've got a source, investing.com. XRP was trading at $9.35 by 220 on the investing.com index on Friday, up 97.17% on the day. Now, there's two reasons I wanted to show you this. First is it's kind of fascinating to me. What this has to mean is that there are literal computer programs that are running that put together a lot of Yahoo's feeds because this is obviously a mistake. And so an entire article is written up on XRP going up up 97% to $9.35, which did not happen. And I thought this was amazing. I was like, what? Really? So I thought this was interesting enough to show to you. But anyway, again, let me say it again. XRP did not go up 97%. We're still in the 26, 27 cent range. Now, but there's one other thing I want to mention out of this that's important for you to note. 97% in a day does happen and can happen in crypto. I've seen it happen. And so that's part of what makes it so fun and so interesting, is that these are the type things that can happen. And so this particular one's not true, but it could be true next week, next month, who knows. XRP Vegas at Funky Bad Chad sent me this one. This is interesting. From Quant Fiction. Tweets mentioning Bitcoin with safe haven risk off by users identifying as portfolio fund asset wealth managers. Probably nothing. It says tweets about Bitcoin as safe haven by money managers, and look how much it's gone up. This is great for all of us in digital assets, because as the public begins to believe what I've always believed, which is that digital assets will be one of the great places to go when you hit the exits from this falsely propped up, central bank propped up stock market and bond market and everything else. When people realize where they can go and that there's a legitimate place for them to go. And I think that you're beginning to see that sold and believed. And I think that is important. Next, Michele Vandenberg, who is on fire these days, sent me this. This could not be said better, folks. From Alex Saunders, corporate negative yielding debt has gone from 20 billion to 1 trillion in 2019. Central banks are literally flying blind, creating all sorts of systemic risk because they have decided they are more powerful than the business cycle. This doesn't end well. Well, this is kind of what I've been saying the last few days. These guys at some point decided that instead of letting free market capitalism do its thing, that they were going to kind of try to micro control every little thing. If the stock market goes down even 2 to 5%, they're going to try to come in and manipulate what's going on by lowering interest rates or announcing that we're going to do a QE or a what or this and print more money. So this is what's been going on in the last really 20, 30 years. Whereas I've told you the story before, when I was a kid, I remember my dad coming home to watch the evening news, and they would get to the segment on markets, and they would actually talk about free market concepts, manufacturing, things that were actually happening in the United States that were reasons for a market to go up. Now, when you watch financial news, well, what could the Fed chairman do today? We hope that he says something positive, then the stocks will go up. It's pathetic. It's ridiculous. It's a joke of a market that we have now, and it's not free market. It's far from free market. Okay, next. Brian Melancholy XRP. I wanted to read this and then I'll end this video. Sent me a good piece here. XRP Community. This is from Ashraf at XRP Jordan. Let me see if I follow him. I do not. I do now. XRP Community. Here you go, Alex. One of 4. The Saudi British bank SABB announced at a conference for the financial sector on November 24th the launch of Instant Transfer Service, a payment infrastructure based on the Ripple blockchain network, which is conducted through XRP as a liquidity solution. SABB, or Saudi British Bank, is a Saudi joint stock company established in 1978 and has been in operation since July 1978, when it managed the activities and services of the British Middle East Bank in Saudi Arabia. With nearly 50 billion in cryptocurrencies, SABB initially joined the Ripple network in January 2018 with support from the Saudi Arabian Monetary Agency, SAMA, to use blockchain's emerging technology to process payments. The bank said it made its first trial on the Ripple blockchain network later that year in December, continuing to collaborate with Ripple to apply blockchain technology to the bank's payment system. Ripple is a strong competitor to the traditional and widespread SWIFT system. I am the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and family that I publicly apologize to Sean Schaefer and all the other guys in the XRP Community Fantasy Football League, because I'm taking you down to Chinatown, folks. Thanks for listening.